This is the story of an ordinary South Carolina woman whose world turned extraordinary overnight, winning an unimaginable $1.5 billion Powerball jackpot. But as we'll soon discover, not every fairy tale has a happy ending. Before the whirlwind of winning $1.5 billion swept through her life, the woman from South Carolina lived a life marked by the ordinary rhythms of daily existence. She was in her late 50s, working as an insurance underwriter, a profession that's more about stability than spectacle. Her life, though comfortable, was not one splashed across the pages of magazines or featured in luxury lifestyle shows. She and her husband, a lawyer, enjoyed the quiet contentment of a long, stable marriage of 36 years, complete with grown children and a life built on the familiar and the secure. Her world was one of modest homes, regular workdays, and the simple joys of family life. In her financial life, there were no dramatic highs or lows, just a 401k and a checking account, the typical instruments of an average middle-class American. There was nothing in her daily routine that hinted at the seismic shift that was about to occur. She was just another person, living a life much like millions of others, with dreams, perhaps, but no real expectation of a dramatic break from the norm. The day she discovered her win, her world didn't just change. It was as if she had been transported to an entirely different universe. The revelation came with a mix of overwhelming emotions, a cocktail of astonishment, disbelief, joy, and a palpable sense of anxiety. Winning the lottery is often portrayed as an unalloyed blessing, but for her, it was a moment fraught with complexity. The numbers on her ticket matched all 6 numbers for the October 23, 2018 drawing, a fact that took time to sink in. This wasn't just a win, it was the jackpot, the largest Mega Millions jackpot ever won by a single ticket. Her first reactions mirrored what many might feel in her shoes, a sense of surreal disbelief. How could an ordinary day transform so radically? Was this real or a wonderfully vivid dream? The joy of winning was undeniable, but it was laced with a dawning realization of the enormity of what had happened. She knew, even in those first moments of jubilation, that life as she knew it would never be the same again. The moment of realization, when the South Carolina woman confirmed her lottery win, was as surreal as it was life-changing. It began like any other day, but by the end, her reality had shifted in a way that was hard to comprehend. She had bought her ticket at the KC Mart number 47 in Simpsonville, a decision made on a whim, without any expectation of what was to come. The morning after the draw, she drove past the store, her heart pounding with a mix of hope and disbelief. Her eyes were glued to the television screen as the numbers were announced, each one matching her ticket. The winning numbers for the October 23, 2018 drawing aligned perfectly with hers. She had won the largest Mega Millions jackpot ever claimed by a single ticket, a staggering $1.5 billion. The weight of this realization was immense. Her first instinct was to doubt this reality. She thought that if the store was calm and without any media frenzy, it would mean she'd made a mistake. But as they drove by, the scene was anything but ordinary. Helicopters hovered above, media crews swarmed, and locals gathered in excitement. This was no mistake. Her life had just taken a turn into the extraordinary. However, this windfall came with immediate concerns. Her joy was laced with anxiety. She had never sought the spotlight, preferring a quiet, unobtrusive life. Now she was potentially thrust into the public eye, a prospect that filled her with dread. She feared for her safety and that of her family. Stories of past lottery winners facing harassment, threats, and even harm were all too familiar to her. Anonymity became her shield, her first line of defense in a world where she was suddenly vulnerable in ways she had never been before. The decision to remain anonymous was not just a preference, it was a necessity. She stashed the ticket in a safety deposit box, a temporary haven while she and her husband contemplated their next steps. The couple knew that they were treading unfamiliar ground, and the need for professional guidance was evident. They considered a range of advisors: attorneys, financial experts, accountants, anyone who could help navigate the complexities of their new reality. But choosing the right advisor was not straightforward. They sought someone who could not only manage their wealth, but also protect their identities. Their quest led them to Jason Kurland, the self-proclaimed lottery lawyer. Kurland had a track record with lottery winners and came across as knowledgeable and trustworthy. He had represented big lottery winners before, and his media appearances gave him a veneer of credibility. The couple decided to contact him using a burner phone, a step that reflected their deep concern for privacy. They even met him in Las Vegas, away from their home turf, to further ensure their anonymity. In the wake of winning the staggering $1.5 billion Powerball jackpot, the South Carolina couple knew they needed expert help to manage their new fortune. This search led them to Jason Kurland, known in the media as the lottery lawyer. Kurland had made a name for himself by representing previous lottery winners, giving him an aura of expertise in this niche field. His appearances on television and his track record with substantial lottery wins made him a seemingly trustworthy choice for the couple. Kurland's appeal lay not just in his professional credentials, but in his understanding of the unique challenges faced by lottery winners. For the couple, anonymity was paramount. They were acutely aware of the potential dangers that such a massive win could bring: unwanted attention, privacy invasion, and security risks. Kurland, with his expertise, seemed like the perfect candidate to help them navigate these uncharted waters. The initial steps taken by Kurland were aimed at securing the couple's privacy and setting up their new financial life. He first set about ensuring their anonymity. This was crucial, as the couple had profound concerns about their identities being revealed to the public. Kurland's strategy involved careful planning to keep their names out of the media and public records, an approach that provided the couple with a sense of security and relief. Next, Kurland focused on the financial aspects. He opened accounts at Bank Leumi USA, headquartered in New York City, for the couple. This was to be the primary account for their lottery winnings. To diversify their assets and reduce risk, he distributed portions of the money to 4 other large American banks. The amounts were substantial: $100 million to 2 banks and $50 million to the other 2. These moves were designed to not only manage the winnings efficiently, but also to maintain the anonymity that was so crucial to the couple. Kurland's role extended beyond just financial management. He was responsible for overseeing various aspects of the couple's newfound wealth. This included distributing money to charity, a desire the couple had expressed early on. They wanted to use a portion of their winnings for philanthropic purposes, a testament to their intent to give back to the community in the wake of their extraordinary luck. As part of his services, Kurland was paid a substantial fee. Initially, he charged a flat fee of $200,000 for his services in collecting the prize. This was just the beginning of his financial involvement with the couple. Over time, his role and influence in their financial affairs would grow significantly. The relationship with Kurland marked a new chapter in the couple's life, one filled with hope and promise. They believed they'd found the right person to guide them through the complexities of their new reality. Little did they know, this decision would lead them down a path fraught with unforeseen challenges and tribulations. As the South Carolina couple settled into their new life as multi-millionaires, trusting Jason Kurland, the lottery lawyer, to guide them, the first signs of trouble began to emerge, subtle at first but increasingly alarming as time passed. Initially, everything seemed to be proceeding smoothly. Kurland had set up accounts for their enormous winnings and had begun managing their investments. The couple's trust in him was strong. After all, he came with a reputation for successfully handling lottery winners' fortunes. They were assured by his professional demeanor and his apparent understanding of their need for privacy and sound financial management. However, cracks began to appear in this seemingly perfect arrangement. The first red flag was the irregularity in the payments to the family members. The couple had set up a family fund, Cedar Ridge Partnership, designed to distribute a monthly income to their relatives. This fund was intended to be a stable source of income for their loved ones, but soon, inconsistencies in the payments surfaced. Amounts varied, and the timing was unpredictable, causing confusion and concern. This was just the beginning. The investments that Kurland suggested, which initially appeared sound and profitable, began to show signs of being less than reliable. He introduced them to investment opportunities such as JBMML and Cheddar Capital, both companies that lent money to small businesses. The couple invested substantial amounts, $20 million in JBMML and $10 million in Cheddar, lured by the promise of a 9% interest rate. The interest earned was supposed to flow into the family fund, but the irregularities in these payments were the first indication that something was amiss. Further investments followed, each more ambitious and riskier than the last. Kurland suggested investing in a diamond merchant, who promised a $2 million return on a $12.6 million investment within 6 months. Then came the idea of investing in thoroughbred racehorses, $1 million for 3 horses, including their feed and training for a year. These ventures, while seemingly glamorous and profitable, began to raise doubts in the couple's minds about the soundness of Kurland's advice. The most troubling investment, however, came in March 2020, when Kurland suggested they put $19.5 million into a company hoping to provide personal protective equipment, or PPE, to the state of California during the early stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. This investment, made at a time of global uncertainty, was a significant gamble. Throughout this period, the couple's trust in Kurland remained intact, albeit with growing concerns. They had entrusted him with the management of their fortune, believing in his expertise and integrity. However, the irregularities in payments, the high-risk nature of the investments, and the lack of transparency began to erode their confidence. Questions arose, suspicions grew, and the dream of a worry-free life with their lottery winnings started to unravel. The couple soon realized that the financial journey they had embarked upon was fraught with unexpected and disturbing challenges, leading them to question the very decisions that had brought them to this point. As the South Carolina couple's journey with their lottery winnings continued, what started as a dream soon spiraled into a nightmare of financial chaos. Under the guidance of Jason Kurland, their lottery lawyer, they'd embarked on a series of investments, each more troubling than the last. The initial investments in JBMML and Cheddar Capital, which had seemed promising, were the start of a series of poor financial decisions. These companies involved in lending to small businesses were supposed to generate a stable return. However, the promised return started to falter, with the payments to the family fund becoming irregular and unreliable. Then came the diamond merchant investment. Kurland had assured them of a significant return on their $12.6 million investment, but as time passed, it became clear that this venture was not as lucrative as promised. The diamond merchant's business was later revealed to be a Ponzi scheme, a fraudulent operation where returns are paid to earlier investors using the capital of newer ones. The couple's venture into the world of thoroughbred racehorses also turned sour. The investment, which initially sounded glamorous, soon proved to be a poor financial decision. The high costs associated with maintaining and training the horses, coupled with the uncertain nature of the racing business, made it an unsustainable investment. The most alarming of all was the investment in a company claiming to supply PPE to the state of California during the COVID-19 pandemic. The couple had invested a whopping $19.5 million, only to find that the deal was fraught with issues. This investment marked a significant turning point, as it exposed the scale of the financial mismanagement they were subjected to. As these investments began to unravel, the couple's trust in Kurland started to erode. They realized that the investments were not just underperforming, but were part of a larger scheme of fraud and deception. The discovery that Kurland had involved them in high-risk, dubious ventures without their full understanding was a harsh awakening. The situation worsened when they learned about the involvement of organized crime elements in some of these investments. The gradual realization of the scam was a harrowing experience for the couple. They had placed their trust and their fortune in the hands of someone they believed to be an expert, only to find that they'd been misled and exploited. This descent into financial chaos was not just a matter of losing money. It was a betrayal of trust, a violation of the security and stability they had sought in seeking professional help to manage their winnings. The couple, once ecstatic about their life-changing lottery win, found themselves entangled in a web of deceit and financial turmoil, struggling to grasp the full extent of the deception they'd fallen victim to. The unraveling of Jason Curlin's fraudulent schemes marked the beginning of a strenuous legal battle for the South Carolina couple, who had once seen him as the guardian of their fortune. The realization that they'd fallen victim to a complex web of deceit and betrayal by their trusted lottery lawyer and his associates led them to take legal action, a decision fraught with emotional and psychological turmoil. The couple filed a lawsuit against Curland, seeking justice and recompense for the financial havoc he had wreaked. The legal proceedings revealed the extent of Curland's betrayal. It was disclosed that he had siphoned off millions from their winnings, investing in high-risk ventures without their consent, and even involving them unknowingly in operations linked to organized crime. The lawsuit brought to light not only the financial mismanagement, but also the breach of fiduciary duty and trust that Curland had committed. As the legal battle unfolded, the couple's emotional and psychological distress deepened. They had entrusted Curland with their life-changing fortune, believing in his expertise and integrity. To discover that he had exploited their trust for personal gain was a bitter pill to swallow. The stress of the situation was compounded by the public nature of the trial, which thrust them back into the spotlight they'd so desperately tried to avoid. The emotional impact of this betrayal was profound. The couple, who had dreamt of a peaceful and secure future post-lottery win, found themselves in a constant state of anxiety and mistrust. The stress took a toll on their personal lives and relationships. They had to grapple with the realization that their dream had turned into a nightmare, one that involved not just financial loss, but a deep sense of betrayal and violation. Moreover, the couple had to confront the psychological impact of their situation. The uncertainty of the legal outcome, the fear of not being able to recover their lost wealth, and the feeling of vulnerability were constant sources of distress. The betrayal by someone they'd considered a professional ally left them questioning their judgment and struggling with feelings of guilt and anger. The lawsuit against Curland and his associates was not just a fight for financial reparation, it was a battle for justice and a quest for closure. It represented the couple's efforts to regain control over their lives and to hold those responsible accountable for their actions. The legal battle and the ensuing realization of betrayal were a painful journey for the couple, one that highlighted the vulnerabilities of those who suddenly find themselves in possession of great wealth and the importance of vigilance and due diligence in managing it. The trial of Jason Curland and his associates marked a critical juncture in the saga of the South Carolina woman's $1.5 billion lottery win. The courtroom became the stage for the unraveling of one of the most significant lottery frauds in recent history. The proceedings were dense with testimonies and evidence that painted a vivid picture of deceit, greed, and betrayal. Curland, once trusted as the lottery lawyer, faced charges of wire fraud, money laundering, and honest services fraud. The trial revealed the extent of his criminal activities. It was disclosed that Curland had siphoned off millions from his clients' winnings, funneling them into dubious investments and schemes, some of which were linked to organized crime. The evidence presented in court included financial records, communication logs, and witness testimonies that corroborated the fraudulent nature of Curland's dealings. Key testimonies came not only from financial experts and law enforcement officers, but also from the victims themselves, including the South Carolina woman. Her testimony was particularly impactful. Speaking under a pseudonym to protect her identity, she detailed the trust she had placed in Curland and how that trust was exploited. Her account provided a human face to the suffering caused by Curland's actions, highlighting the emotional and psychological toll of the betrayal. The conviction of Curland and his associates was a significant moment in the trial. The jury found them guilty of the charges, a decision that was met with a sense of vindication by the victims. The conviction was more than just a legal outcome. It represented a moral victory against deception and corruption. For the South Carolina woman, the trial's conclusion brought mixed feelings. Financially, the ordeal had drained a significant portion of her lottery winnings. The investments Curland had pushed her into were mostly losses, and the legal fees in the effort to recover her funds added to her financial burden. Despite the conviction, the possibility of recovering the entirety of her lost wealth remained uncertain. Personally, the impact of the trial and its outcome was profound. While the conviction offered some closure, the emotional scars remained. She had gone from experiencing the euphoria of winning the lottery to the despair of betrayal and fraud. The trial's outcome did little to erase the sense of violation she felt or the trust issues that now plagued her. She had to rebuild her life, not just financially, but also emotionally and psychologically. The tale of the South Carolina woman who won $1.5 billion in the lottery is a reminder of the unpredictable nature of fortune. Her journey from an unassuming life to unimaginable wealth and then into the depths of legal and emotional turmoil underscores the importance of cautious optimism, the necessity of due diligence, and the complexities of managing sudden wealth.